Hi, I'm Mike with Homes Quality Products. Today, I want to talk to you about the news and things that's been going on with credit cards and travel as of June 25th, 2024. All right, first up is going to be Wells Fargo and BILT. So I guess the Wall Street Journal got some information that Wells Fargo is losing $10 million a month with BILT. And I guess talking about ways of, like, they have a contract till 2029, and I think what really has happened is this information was put out to start a conversation between BILT and Wells Fargo, and a public conversation, so they could try to figure out how to compensate and get some of their money back. But Wells Fargo pays $200 for every customer that BILT brings that's new to the Wells Fargo ecosystem, which in turn, Wells Fargo expected a certain percentage to carry a balance, and that they would make up some of this money in other ways and getting new customers to maybe get mortgages through Wells Fargo or maybe other things through Wells Fargo. And I guess it's not quite working out that way. But then when people reached out to talk to Wells Fargo and BILT, they kind of sound like everything is good and that BILT's still a newer program and that there's plenty of time to have it grow and become more. So as far as what I think of this is that the information that put out the percentages and things like that, it was, I think, very deliberate and intentional to put that out there, that had these exact numbers and percentages that they're making and not making and what their expectations were. And like I said, I think it was to create a conversation early. But BILT is also a platform. And if you watch the video, I think I shared it in my last news video. I actually had a link in it. If you look at the interview that they had with one of the BILT guys, like, it's a platform to get you more than just, it's not just about the credit card, and not everybody on there uses the credit card. So I think that this is helping Wells Fargo grow. I think Chase had made a statement a long time ago about when they came out with the Sapphire Reserve and how they lost so many money for so many years, and then eventually it starts to flip. It's like almost any other business. It usually starts out as a loss before it becomes profitable. I don't think this is the end of BILT, or will be the end of BILT in 2029 when the contract ends. I think this is just Wells Fargo's trying to go ahead and figure out how to cut some of these losses now, so that by the end of the contract year they figured it out and they'll renew it, or in the meantime they're not losing so much money. And most of you guys that's watching my channel knows that the BILT MasterCard is one of my favorite travel credit cards. It has no annual fee, and it has primary car rental insurance, has great transfer partners. It's just like, it's a good card, good at least dining card for eating out and things like that. It's a good card for travel, and there's no annual fee to it. Like, I've talked about it. You should watch the BILT video if you haven't. It's an amazing card. So hopefully they can continue on and figure out ways to compensate and make more money for each other, or find a better balance. But hopefully they don't get rid of the program. I don't think they will, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens when the contract ends. All right, so moving on from my favorite no annual fee travel card to my favorite no annual fee kind of cash back credit card. So next we're going to talk about the Verizon credit card. Now, I call it a cash back card because they give you Verizon dollars, which you can take off your bill. If you save me $100 on a bill, that's $100 in my pocket. To me, that's cash back. Some people don't look at it that way, so I just want to clarify it. So the original Verizon card was 4 points on grocery, 4 points on fuel, 3% on dining, 2% on Verizon purchases, including your bill, and then 1% on everything else. So it was a really good card already. Well, come October-ish, I think is when they're going to do it. I think it said sometime after August, but by October, they're going to be changing the multipliers. It's going to be 4% on grocery and 4% on fuel, just like it originally was. But now instead of 3% on dining, it's going to be 4% on dining. And then instead of 2% on Verizon purchases, it's going to be 4% on Verizon purchases. But instead of getting 2% on your bill, you're going to get 1% on your bill. So in my opinion, this is an upgrade. Like, you're going to give me more on Verizon purchases, which I don't do a whole lot of, but you're going to give me more on dining, which I do a lot of. So in my opinion, this is the best single one card for cash back. The only downside, you got to be a Verizon customer. Well, I guess two downsides. You got to be a Verizon customer. and you're going to get Verizon dollars, so it's not cash back. But like I said, the way I look at it is you save me $5, that means you gave me like $5 back in cash, is the way I look at it. If this card had transfer partners, there would be no card that could beat this card. I mean, 4 points on dining, 4 points on grocery, 4 points on fuel. And those are the top three that most people need is groceries, dining, and fuel. So 4% back on each one of those, like, that's crazy. And then the 4% on there. And also, you're still going to get the $10 off your bill that you get with the Verizon card. So in case you don't know this and you're using a credit card to pay your Verizon bill and it's not the Verizon card, they have like a $10, I don't know what they call it, but it's a $10 fee. If you use they used to use debit cards, but I was actually just informed yesterday, they don't use debit cards anymore, but you use your checking account, you'll save that $10 a month. But if you use the Verizon card, you also save that $10 a month. So great card. If you don't have it and you're a Verizon customer, I've said it before, you should have this card. It's my fallback card. So if I'm trying to get percentages in certain categories, and I might be using an ecosystem that doesn't have something, for example, I'll give you two quick examples. So if I'm using the Capital One ecosystem and I have the Saver One and like a Venture X, that's a 2%, and then dining gives me 3 and 3. So maybe I'll go ahead and use that for my dining card, the Saver One, use the Venture X for like a catch-all, but then I have nothing for fuel except for a 2% card. So maybe that Verizon card becomes my fuel card. Another example is recently another setup I was trying out is using the BILT MasterCard along with the Wells Fargo Autograph and the Wells Fargo Active Cash. Well, the Autograph is a great no annual fee card. It has a lot of 3% categories, but there's nothing in there for grocery. So then I would use my Verizon card as my grocery card and use the Wells Fargo Autograph to catch the other things. So like I said, this is a great fallback card. And if you're somebody that doesn't want something that's complicated and you have Verizon, this is just one card to use for everything. There was a period of time I used this card for everything, and almost every other month my bill was free because I had saved so many credits from the previous month. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that one. What's going on with the Verizon card? I think it's an upgrade. I can't wait for it. And then we have one more little bit of news. This is the last part is BILT Rent Day coming up July 1st. So this rent day is all about Alaska Airlines. Just to add to that real quick too is probably by the time you see this video tomorrow, it will BILT will no longer have American Airlines. But anyway, this rent day is all about Alaska Airlines. So they're going to have a great transfer bonus for BILT points to Alaska points this month. You're going to get, if you're blue status, you'll get a 25% bonus. If you're silver status, you get a 50% bonus. If you're gold status, you get a 75% bonus. And if you're platinum status with BILT, you'll get a 100% bonus on transfer, up to 50,000 points. So if you transfer over 50,000, it just goes to 1-to-1 ratio like normal. But up to 50,000, you're going to get a huge bonus according to your status level you have with BILT. With that being said, I'd also like to mention that BILT is a One World Alliance partner. So these points you could use to book through maybe an American Airlines flight or something else like that too. Also, if you transfer over 10,000 points from BILT to Alaska Airlines and you have gold status with BILT, you will get Alaska MVP status. And then if you have platinum with BILT, you'll get Alaska MVP gold status. So you'll actually get status with them, and it's good till December of this year. So it's only like 6 months of status with them. But that's also One World Alliance status. And the One World Alliance status will be Ruby and Sapphire. So if you plan on flying through Alaska Airlines or maybe a One World Alliance partner, this might be a great time to do a transfer over to them, to transfer your BILT points over to Alaska Airlines, because that's a huge bonus you're going to get. You're going to get status, which is One World Alliance status, so that can help you too if you have gold or platinum status with BILT. So there's a lot of things to consider. So it's going to be a good rent day if that's something that you've been considering or thinking about traveling. Like I said, that's usually with most credit card issuers, you might be lucky to get up to a 30% bonus increase in your points. So to know with this BILT, you may be able to get 50, 75, even 100% bonus on your points. It's unheard of. But that's, like I said, I always talk about BILT's killing it, man, and they're still killing it with this. So it's a great card anyway. And like I said, I flew through Alaska Airlines quite a few times. I've never had any issues. And I'll probably be transferring quite a bit of my BILT points over to Alaska points just because it's such a huge bonus they're going to give me, and I know I will use it eventually. So that's all the news I got for this week. And like I always tell you guys, if you don't have the cash, you don't have the credit, treat your credit cards just like your debit card, just like cash. Only use what you have unless it's an emergency. You got to do what you got to do. But treat your credit cards like your debit card. Only spend what you have. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.